You're listening to Choose FI Radio. The blueprint for financial independence lives here. If you're looking to unlock the secrets to financial independence and early retirement, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and join a community of like-minded people who are getting off the hamster wheel and taking control of their lives in the pursuit of financial independence. Choose FI, your home for financial independence online.
Hello and welcome to our last episode of the year, our last episode of the decade. And we have carved out the last episode of the year for a sole purpose, to highlight this community and specifically the wins and the financial gains and progress that this community has made over the last year. We let you know that this episode is coming up, and every year, if you're listening to this, I hope that you're as inspired by this episode as we are. If you want to be a part of this, because maybe you just in the last couple of months started taking action, you want to be featured on next year's show. We will do this every year, and we anticipate that thousands and thousands of you will reach financial independence over the coming years and as you stay with us on this journey. So this is a moment for us to slow down and really highlight your wins. And to help me with this, I have my co-host Brad here with me today. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Jonathan, I'm doing great. Yeah, this is probably the episode that I look forward to the most every year. This is now the second annual of this, and just incredibly excited. I have not read these wins ahead of time. We're going to go through this together, and I just cannot wait to hear all of them.
All right. With that, it's going to be a slightly different pace today. I realize this is the holidays. All of us have different stuff going on, and I appreciate you hanging out with us. I hope that this inspires you and lifts you up a little bit today and lets you know that this is doable. So, MK, let's start with you. What do you got for us?
Okay, well, our first win comes from Oren. So he says, zero knowledge of FI in May, found the podcast in June, went to see Playing with Fire around a month later, just started reading Simple Path to Wealth and loving it. For the first time ever, my 401k will be maxed out for the year, and I hear the Southwest Companion Pass calling my name in 2020. This game is fun. Congratulations, Oren.
And Oren, this game is just getting started. Welcome to the board game.
Nice. All right, our next win is from Lon. Lon said, I've always been a natural saver. I've been investing in Roth IRAs since my teens. I have the best dad ever and put well over the match in my 401k on the rare times I had one. I switched jobs a lot. No debt except my modest house. I knew I was leagues ahead of my peers in savings and investing and just assumed I would have a wealthier early retirement at 59 and a half. But a couple years ago, I stumbled onto Mr. Money Mustache and Choose FI from there. Choose FI has inspired me to make some drastic changes. And now for the list of wins. My house was easily turned into a duplex, so now I have a tenant and house hack. I used to work for a lawn care company, and the owner started referring excess customers to me. So now I have a side gig that has turned into a very profitable business. My girlfriend works for a school and noticed the cook throwing out leftovers daily. They became friends, and now the cook packages up leftovers for me. I eat supper every day for free. I trade mechanic work at the local restaurant for dinner and drinks for me and the girlfriend. I also volunteer to haul wood for a tree removal service. I haul it right to my yard and use it to heat my house in the winter. It's amazing what happens when you just ask. With all these wins, my savings rate has gone from 25 to 35%, all the way up to 65 to 75%.
Wow.
Every Sunday morning, I listen to Choose FI with a cup of coffee. Thanks, guys. Because of you, I'm doing quite well.
You're doing so much better than quite well. You passed quite well a long time ago.
That is incredible.
All right, this next one I have is from Victoria. Is finding this community and getting educated enough of a win? I consider this resource a huge win for me. It's just me and I make good money, but I don't want to have to work until 65 or even 60. So finding this concept and podcast has been life-changing, even if I haven't made big moves yet. Just got to get started. Just got to take action. Love it.
Great. Yeah. And our next one comes from Timothy. Working on my second year of Choose FI, learned a ton the first and executed in the second. In the last year, we purchased 2 duplexes, a triplex, and a quad totaling $1 million, which generates $110,000 gross. This is while also maxing 401k, ESPP, and HSA for both my gal and I. The triplex and quad closed the same weeks, 1.5 weeks ago. Because of delays beyond my control, the triplex pushed out to a day that I was on a business trip in India. I had to rush to POA to have my mom sign for it. Talk about long distance. It all worked out and closed with no issue. We are going to house hack the triplex after moving back to St. Pete from San Jose in December. We'll be living in a higher end area of downtown for free. With the stock market on a tear, we moved from 400,000 net worth in January to over 500,000 now. Congratulations, Timothy.
Wow. It's amazing when your listeners are having a bigger year than you are.
Yeah, seriously, that is incredible, Timothy. All right, our next one is from Becky. I only discovered the FIRE concept in March of this year. Since then, I've been able to save and invest 73% of my annual income. I'm a single mom with an income below the poverty level, but this lit a fire in me to take charge of my family's future.
Since finding the concept of financial independence, I've been able to save/invest 73% of my annual income as a single mom and an income below the poverty level. But people want to tell you that you can't do this. People want to tell you that this isn't for you, that's only for someone else. Thank you, Becky, for sharing this. This is incredible. And I hope that over the coming year, we can highlight your story and more stories like yours. It is absolutely doable. It is absolutely doable, but it is predicated on you finding the information and then taking action on the ideas that work for you in your specific situation. I'm encouraged by this. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right, our next win is from Femi. We will be closing on our first rental property at the end of the month. We could not have done this if I did not join ChooseFI. I started a blog after listening to episode 69. This also wouldn't have been possible if I did not find this community in April 2019. We are enjoying the journey because we have a blueprint. So as you guys have probably realized, we don't really run ads on this show, but I will just say in context here from a blueprint perspective, we have written our first book, ChooseFI, Your Blueprint to Financial Independence. A lot of the big ideas that are being talked about on these wins are encapsulated in the 270 some odd pages in this book. And if you're starting out this new decade and you want to get a blueprint, you want to implement a plan, highly recommend you start here. Give this book a shot. Check it out from your library or go purchase it anywhere books are found. If you've already bought into these ideas and you're on this path, but you want to give this as a gift to someone that you know needs this information, I think it would be a valuable use of your time and their time.
Agree. That's a great blueprint right there. Well, Valerie shares the transformation she's had over this year. January 1st, savings rate under 15%, no plan whatsoever for retirement accounts, etc. 2 months expenses in my emergency fund and a car loan. Now, after finding this group, I'm at a 40% savings rate, clear plan for retirement funds, emergency fund is at almost 4 months. I have a Roth, no debt, started classes for my planned side hustle and potential new career. Congratulations, Valerie.
Potential new career. You know, you like whatever decisions you made at the age of 17, you're not locked into that for life. If you realize that, I think my ladder's on the wrong wall, this isn't really resonating or working for me, you don't have to be stuck. You can just start making small changes to move. Someone wants to ask me, is the FIRE movement, is this really just about a bunch of people that are unhappy with their current jobs? And I was like, well, maybe. But that's not a bad thing either. If your version of financial independence just looks like you leaving a toxic work environment and going to something that lights you up, is that a failure? Not in my mind. All right, let's move on.
All right, our next win is from Justin. Like many others, I found the podcast just this year. Before, I had a slightly above average savings rate at 12% and expected to retire around 60 because that's just what people do. When I learned there was a better way, it literally changed my life. In just the 6 months since I found the podcast, we jumped from a 12% savings rate to 49% and closed on our first rental property last month. This is all on a single income while my wife is going through CRNA school. Once she graduates, we hope to increase it significantly more. I owe the ChooseFI team a deep, heartfelt thank you.
All right, this next one is from Randy. Found the ChooseFI podcast in September, started a new job in August, maxing our 401k with only 4 months of income. First time ever maxing it out. Lots of changes going on here. Increased savings rate, saving money, switch to Vanguard on episode 47 and making my way fast. Love this stuff.
Great. Congratulations, Randy. Our next win is from John. John says, we cashed out the equity in our home and locked in a 2.75% interest rate for 15 years. We're using the proceeds to invest in VTSAX. My wife turned lemons into lemonade by turning a job layoff into an opportunity to find a job with a 55% increase in pay. We are now maxing out our IRAs, 401ks, and HSA for the first time in our life. Congratulations, John.
Wow, 55% pay increase. That's incredible. All right, our next one is from Nicole. Nicole said, I paid off 3 credit cards and 1 will be paid off by the end of November. 1 dog lease and 3 medical bills since the end of September.
Wait, dog lease?
Wow. And
That was there was a conversation in the thread about, it was a payment plan.
Wow. The pet store had a payment plan.
Oh, wow.
That's unbelievable. A payment plan for your dog.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's paid
well, it's
off.
gone now, right?
It is gone. No more interest accruing on doggy there. So, wow.
You've given me another creative example of types of payments to avoid. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that contribution to the community.
I think blind and couch payments might be pushed to the side for dog leasing.
My universe has been expanded. All right. This next one is from Andy. My wife, Jessica, and I finished paying her student loans and paid off the car loan for our Tesla. We also switched her Verizon phone plan to Total Wireless, which should save hundreds a year. All of this and some other small wins have enabled us to cut down on our monthly expenses, which will allow me to become a stay-at-home dad to our son. Bring on second-generation fire.
All right. And Christy is bringing us an international win. She says, because we have no debt, a healthy emergency fund, and my husband's government pension, he retired from the government and took a consulting job in Europe. We moved with 2 teenagers and 8 suitcases. With the help from my on-again, off-again teaching career, daughter number 3 is poised to graduate from college debt-free next year, following her 2 big debt-free college graduation sisters.
That's awesome. All right, our next one is from Christine. And Christine said, I found out that the $7,000 HSA contribution lowers our post-fi income enough to qualify us for ACA tax credits, making our bronze Kaiser Health Plan premium only $237 per month for 3 people. That is awesome. Talk about a win-win. So by putting this money in an HSA, it lowered them enough to qualify for subsidies.
Probably covered the cost of everything they put into the HSA.
That is awesome.
I wonder what it would have been without the subsidies too. Those subsidy cliffs, they change the premiums a lot. All right, this next one is from Bill. Bill says, I discovered Choosify and listened to all but 50 episodes so far. I've moved to Vanguard. I saw the Playing with Fire documentary. I got 2 new certifications, started a blog, started training others in my profession, got fired from a toxic job. Yay. Planning to relocate. My family could start talking about things helpful for Fi. I could go on and on. The list goes on, but life is good.
That's amazing. Lizzie writes, I own my own marketing company and realized I needed to take my bottom line seriously after calculating out my financial future. The Choosify podcast made me realize that not only do I want to become FI to spend time with my husband doing all the adventurous things that are the foundation of our relationship, but also that it is within reach. I realized that I needed to take initiative on increasing my income as well as making better choices on where we commit our time and money. So I negotiated a wonderful business coach's minimum subscription down to 3 months. She helped me raise my hourly rate and became confident enough to close with a couple new clients. Starting next month, my business's subscription-based income will increase $54,000 a year, and this is only the beginning. I would never have understood the value of a dollar or my time without Choosify. Thank you. Congratulations, Lizzie.
Wow, $54,000. That's incredible.
That is not insignificant, nor is it a rounding error. Congratulations. That's huge.
All right, our next one's from Kevin. Kevin said, we sold off all of our older, smaller investments to simplify our portfolio, which includes a lot of the 0% expense ratio, FZROX at Fidelity. Oh, and the capital gains on the stuff we sold will be taxed at a rate of 0% for federal tax due to our lack of earned income. We are already fire.
That's amazing. Oh, wow. They keep coming, guys. Okay. This next one is from Kat. It says, I attended Camp FI, decreased my expense ratio on my 403B, finally started a 529, started travel rewards, opened up several new bank accounts for bank account bonuses, moved my emergency fund to a high yield savings account, started YNAB to see how much extra money could be utilized each month for investing, started shopping at Aldi's. We're on track to max out our pre-tax accounts. We've done this for several years already, read a lot of books, blogs, Facebook threads, as well as listened to a lot of podcasts, gave a financial talk at work. Ooh. Met with my 403B liaison to fight for better options to invest in. Results still pending. Hopes not high, unfortunately. Brad, that's one of the episodes I want to do next year, how to give an effective presentation with your HR department. I think there's 2 factors there. One is, can you present the information, say we're all in this together, but 2, present it as a cost savings for the business. Some people start on the one end, but fail on the other. It has to hit both of those often in order for your business to change. We'll come back to that in a future episode. And then perhaps the most important one, got my hubby to buy into the possibility of financial independence. It was this abstract idea for him before, but now that he sees that it's real and it's not too far in the future. He even recommended the Choosify podcast to someone at work recently. Our marriage is stronger as we work toward goals together. Well, I've got chills.
Wow.
That's so great. Yeah. All right. Well, Edub says he paid off my car this year, my credit cards, and by March 2020, I will have paid off my $27,000 grad school loan. Congratulations.
Oh my goodness. It feels so good to have those loans gone. I know there's some people that just sit on it, but man, having them out of the way is just amazing.
All right. The next one's from Dawn. Dawn said, I doubled my salary by changing companies for a whopping 100% increase, paid off my mortgage, fully funded my 401ks at the old and new company. I accomplished more and have more goals, but these are the biggest accomplishments this year.
What if the difference between you making what you're making now and making double was just hearing this episode? I guarantee you that next year, that's someone else's story. Could be yours. This next one is from Steven. I've been working for the past 3 years to increase my salary. I taught myself programming and moved from customer service to IT. In the past month, I got promoted to my dream job of being a software engineer. I've effectively doubled my salary and have more opportunity for growth and advancement while putting away the proceeds to invest.
Wow, Jonathan, 2 in a row, doubled my salary? How is this possible? That's
and I did
amazing.
not know before I started reading that. That's amazing. Congratulations, Stephen.
That's amazing. All right. This one comes from Christy. She says, we have been investing in many channels, work like crazy, and save 30+% since we started working. I thought I loved my job until I found FIRE in late 2018. I listened, learned, joined Camp Mustache, met many like-minded friends, and feel confident enough to quit my job on June 7th.
Oh,
I started
is that so? Equipment
Wow,
is that this upcoming year or this past year?
I think it's this past year because she also says she started a side hustle on Airbnb and loves it. She keeps herself busy, has time for the kids and husband, but not yet too boring. And she says, thank you, Choosify. You changed my life for the better. Congratulations, Christy.
Congratulations.
All right, as Czar wrote in, I became obsessed with travel rewards and already was able to visit family. And I have a big family trip to Italy planned for the summer of 2020. Jonathan, I love this. An entire family trip to Italy using travel rewards. That's incredible.
What if life became a giant adventure? It is. Maybe it's this next decade. Let's start making moves to make that a reality. All right, this next one is from Jody. I became entirely debt-free, then met my husband, then quit my job to work for ourselves. It's been a busy year.
That does sound like a busy year, but an awesome year. Okay, Matt says, we booked a hotel for 4 nights in Amalfi, Italy, using our Chase Sapphire Preferred 50,000 points, a $700 value. Congratulations, Matt. Have a great trip.
Wow, this is crazy. So that's 2 Italy trips in 3 wins here using travel rewards points. And Jonathan, of course, we always talk about, we have a free travel rewards course that Ed put together. That's just amazing. Everybody listening, you can find it at choosify.com/travel.
I wonder if each year we'll start to notice patterns about the places to go as people start to, get into travel rewards for the first time and they find out how powerful it is. Their first trip. I wonder, we'll start to look for the patterns.
Yeah, Italy it is this year. All right, and the next one's from Eric. Eric wrote in, 1 year ago, we were behind on all bills, including our mortgage, had a vehicle that was financed at 12% interest, no emergency fund, had only a 401k, and was barely able to contribute $100 a pay period. My credit score was about 620 at best. In the last year, my wife and I were able to start a side hustle and at the same time cut our spending so much that we get all the bills on track, refinance the vehicle at 2.9% interest. Our emergency fund is now $30,000. We're both maxing our 401k, 2 HSA accounts, and 2 Roth IRA accounts, plus have a taxable account and are able to put in about $1,500 a month. Our credit score is now about 100 points higher, and we're at a 70% savings rate.
My goodness, to our community, as they're hearing this, it's one of those things where the next time that someone sends you some clickbait article asking about this movement and is it really for you? Is it really possible? I just want you to laugh. And then I want you to share this episode with whoever sent you that article and say, just listen to this, because you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I think historically, we think that it has to be our neighbors, our friends or family. You can absorb what other people are doing and you'll find yourself matching some of these goals. Maybe not everything, but you'll start looking for those opportunities and it will change your life. And that is when we talk about this being a movement, that's one of the things that makes it so powerful. We've broken through the noise. We've captured the nation and the world's attention right now. And because of that, it's providing individuals opportunities to drastically transform their finances and their lives. This next voicemail is from Joanne, and we're going to go and play this now.
Hi, Brad. Hi, Jonathan. It's Jo. I'm reaching out because I saw an outreach request on Facebook for 2019 FI success stories. So I thought I would reach out and tell you how much I enjoyed this show and how I found you, a key takeaway, and then share my FI 2019 win of the year. With that being said, I was introduced to you by a very smart physician's assistant here in beautiful Richmond, Virginia. He knew I had a mindset towards personal finance and shared how much he enjoyed your podcast. I did download a few episodes and was quickly hooked. I did not know there was a tribe like Choose FI out there. It felt like something that I had always known to be true and something that my husband and I had been living for many years. We have been married for 27 years. We have long had the edict that we don't keep up with the Joneses. We have avoided lifestyle creep, and yet we lead what I think is a very rich, full life and enjoy many, many things. The number one thing that I have taken away from the Choose FI podcast this year is all around choice. And one thing that we implemented into our quarterly budget meetings is a line item on our profit and loss statement, if you will, called the FU fund. Previously, that was just advanced savings because we have our 6-month emergency fund. And then we had this other little brokerage account that was outside of retirement funds to tap if we needed it. So that is now more appropriately branded the FU fund. Our focus this year is a little different than some. I don't have a desire to be a landlord. I do have a desire to be mortgage debt free. So I've had a 15-year mortgage that was taken out in 2008. And I was just really tired of it being around. So the goal set 2 years ago was to have that mortgage done by the end of 2019. And I am on track to have that sucker completely gone so that I'm going to enter my 50s, never having to make another house payment in my life. What that will allow us to do as our next FI goal is to bolster that non-retirement savings so that either when I choose to step away from work full-time or work makes that choice for me, I am fully prepared to live the rest of my life knowing that no matter what happens, I will be okay. And I continue to listen to the topics that you cover on Choose FI. I've greatly enjoyed the conversation around how to fund and find insurance when you are choosing to step away from a 1099 or from a W-2 workplace into a 1099 workplace, or just stop working in general. So that to me was very impactful. And I like hearing some of the tactics and strategies that people use. Anytime you want to have JL Collins on there, I will listen again and again and again. So keep up the great content, keep up the great work. You've been a great source of motivation on my 2019 journey to pay off my mortgage. My husband has coined the phrase when I do some bonehead things that was not very FI of me. So I know that he's on board because we share common goals. So thank you again. Keep up the good work. Have a great day.
Oh, I love it, Joanne. Thanks so much for sharing that with us and with the community. Brad, do you think we could just ask JL to come back and do the stock series with us every year or two? Just I know we did it. Can we just do it again?
I'm sure he'd be up for it. And yeah, that would be great.
All right. Well, our next win comes from Julie. She says a boring one, but this is a win. So it's an exciting one.
She says it's boring. We're not saying it's boring.
We're not saying it's boring. Yeah, that's what she said. And I was like, no, this is your win. This is exciting. Julie writes, I found the FIRE community this year. I've actually been doing most of the habits all along, and we've been 30 to 40% savers for years. My win is finding a community of my people and then just adding some small other life hacks learned from Choose FI, mainly cell phones and travel card rewards. 25 months to FIRE for me and 19 for the husband. Also not feeling like a frugal cheapskate any longer. Congratulations, Julie.
So you've got your FI date down to 25 months and simultaneous to that, you don't feel like a frugal cheapskate. That's winning right there. Nice job. Not boring at all.
All right. Our next one is from Katya, and she writes in, number one, we are on track to pay off $25,000 of debt. As of today, down to one student loan. Number two, while cash flowing and using travel rewards for a $7,000 trip to Japan and a $3,000 trip to Mexico. Three, we both got promotions and asked for additional raises, which increased our income by 21%. Four, we're now putting 10% to our 401k and use Choosify's personal capital link. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To find out we were paying a ridiculous amount of fees. And since then, we've moved our retirement to low-cost index funds. This is all since July when we first found the FI community.
Oh, so multiple things I heard there. One was $10,000 in free travel. So at that $7,000 trip and a $3,000 trip covered by travel rewards. And then two, not having to pay for that and getting a 20% raise and watching that net worth continue to go up. She mentioned a net worth tracker. We talk about it on our show at the end of the show, but just for context, for those of you hearing this episode for the first time, Personal Capital offers a wonderful, completely free personal finance tracker, a net worth tracker. And they are an affiliate of ours. If you want to support us and the show and simultaneous to that, have this wonderful free tool that you can use to monitor your net worth over time from all of your various accounts, you can just go to choosify.com/PC. P as in Paul, C as in cat. All right, the next one is from Corey. In May, I paid off my 2016 Honda Civic after 11 months. Spent around $200 on $1,600 worth of flights to see my and my fiance's families for the holidays, thanks to the Southwest Companion Pass. Fully funded my Roth IRA with Vanguard. Go VTSAX, go all the way. Started a blog, potentially launching a podcast with two close friends next year. Well, keep us posted, Corey. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Wow. Our next one comes from Deborah. She says, since finding Choosify, where they were on the Her Money podcast with Jean Chatzky, I have had the following wins. 1, I have an emergency fund for 1 month's income, which seemed impossible a couple years ago. 2, I have been able to lend to family to help them when they were in need. 3, I was able to go to the mechanic without fear of being able to cover the expense for the first time in my life. 4, I have a 5-year plan to get out of debt, and while it has not gone 100% to plan, I have been able to make a dent in a few debts. That's amazing, Deborah. Congratulations.
Yeah, that is incredible. That's what we talk about, the power of FI from the very beginning of the journey. An emergency fund for 1 month of income and being able to go to that mechanic and it not being a life-altering crisis. I love that.
By the way, she mentioned the Her Money podcast there. If you have not yet checked out that podcast, Jean Chatzky, it's her show, Jean Chatzky, and it is a phenomenal show. We'll have a link in the show notes. Go check it out.
All right, Therese writes in, I have paid off all $40,000 plus of my college loans, both student and personal, all my credit card debt, about $9,000, and have allocated more than $80,000 to investments, retirement, and savings over the span of 3 years. This is quite modest. No, I don't think that's quite modest at all, but I'll take your word for it. But it is something I never dreamed of accomplishing, given that I've struggled even having a budget in 2016. All this while still traveling and enjoying the occasional dinner out here and there. While I credit most of my progress to finally having a stable job, I also know that I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't for the support of a spouse who is probably way better at this FI thing than I am. Money isn't the end-all be-all, but by focusing on experiences rather than things, we've really started saving up for the business we one day want to have. With any luck, we'll make that happen in the next 10 years. Fingers crossed.
I'm hearing a lot of business building conversations on these wins. That's pretty cool. I love that. Choosify started as a side hustle. I was working a traditional professional corporate job. Choosify is my passion. I love it. It's pretty cool. I mean, you can build a business doing anything. So let's start dreaming. Let's start dreaming bigger. Let's start working towards that and then turning risk into opportunity. This next one is from Miriam. I discovered this group, opened a 529 for 3 of my kids, took a well-deserved trip, moved from a crappy apartment, applied for the FAFSA, and that's it so far, but are planning our next moves now.
Excellent. And talking about planning to make some great changes. So Emily wrote in with some big changes that she's made. Since finding Choosify a few months ago, we have changed all our current investments to low-fee index funds and added $10,000 that wasn't really working for us to VTSAX. I also just booked our family of 5 to fly out of a small airport, so it would be easier with our special needs child who needs to take an ICU unit with him, all for free, to go to his syndrome conference. We will also be getting our hotel rooms and minivan rental for free. Usually this conference costs us thousands of dollars. My husband and I love talking about FI, and we are both all in. That's amazing, Emily.
All right. And Rachel writes in with a list of wins. 1, found Choosify. 2, I refinanced my mortgage, which eliminated PMI and saves me $200 a month. 3, refinanced my student loans, and I'm on target to pay them off by the end of next year. 4, read A Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. This led me to fire my financial advisor, move my investments to Vanguard, and get out of high-fee mutual funds and into index funds. 5, got rid of cable and switched to a new internet provider, which is $80 a month savings, and also evaluated all my subscriptions and made cuts there as well. 6, I'm teaching yoga as my side hustle, which also gets me unlimited free yoga, which is $150 a month savings. 7, I'm tracking all of my spending and asking before I buy anything, is this even worth a short delay to my reaching FI? It turns out most things aren't. Oh, and number 8, I've opened 3 Travel Rewards credit cards and will have earned 120,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points and 40,000 United miles by the end of the year. I'll start on my Southwest cards in December with an eye on getting my companion pass for early 2020.
Just from an Ultimate Rewards perspective, that is conservatively 2 round-trip tickets to Europe.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Very easily. So, yeah, that is about that list of wins, Rachel. I mean, that is a best of 5. Congratulations.
All right, this next one is from Linda. Number 1, enrolled in a CFP program. Taking the exam in March, fingers crossed. I work for an investment company, and personal finance and financial literacy is really important to me. Through my CFP studies, I found the FI community. I did not know it existed and was thrilled to learn that many FI individuals have the same values and habits as my family. Through months of reading and listening to podcasts, learned that we are doing many, many things well. We're saving over 50% of dual income for many years, proper tax preparation, indexing, low-cost investments, college savings, maxing all opportunities, etc. The only debt is a mortgage, and our interest rate is incredibly low, as is our payment. Not messing with that. Kids are 18 and 16. My oldest is in college and made a wise decision, with a nudge from her parents, to attend a great school that rewarded her hard work with a scholarship. We are covering her room and board, hoping she graduates debt-free. The 16-year-old wants to attend a local state school and live at home for a year or 2. So bring on those college savings. My next hope is to continue to go deeper into the FI community, especially locally. I would love to make some friends with the same mindset, learn from others, and pay it forward. Much gratitude. Congratulations, Linda. That's incredible.
That is amazing. And we have Courtney who wrote in with a list as well. So we've kind of hit another trend of people who have lots of things to celebrate with their wins. So Courtney says, 1, set up Vanguard, will move from expensive broker. 2, paid off $40,000 off the house. 3, increased our business through marketing. 4, built our first Airbnb and cash flowed it. 5, applied for Native American health insurance to cover out-of-pocket cost. 6, paid for a plane ticket for my son to come home for Christmas with my Travel Rewards points. 7, will take a trip on points in 2 weeks with hotel paid for. It's a driving trip. 8, we are racking up points for a vacation in 2020. 9, I'm considering going to 3 days a week because I believe our side business can support it. And 10, have a FI date of 6 years because of discovering this. Wow. Congratulations, Courtney.
I bet you it's faster than 6 years. I'm just saying.
At that rate, it sounds like it. All right, Jackie wrote in, this year I hit $100,000 in net worth. I paid off my car loan, increased my 401k by 7% contribution rate, and listened to 263 Choosify episodes so far. Holy cow.
I don't feel guilty at all. It's been all incredibly value added. All right. This next one is from Steven. Steven's got a little picture here, Brad, and I think I see some solar panels.
Looks like it.
So we'll include that picture in the show notes and on the YouTube channel. Aussie Fi Discoverer here. Found Choosify a few months ago and listened to all of it within 2 months. That's another 200 episode binge right there. Since then, I have moved superannuation, which is like a 401k equivalent, into a low fee index fund, refinanced the home loan, cashed in my old managed fund with high fees, and bought a home solar power system with it. So it's a 10 kilowatt inverter, 13.2 kilowatts of solar panels. Brad, these numbers and terms are totally foreign to me, but I assume they're resonating with you.
Yeah.
Total cost of about $5,000, but it should pay itself off in less than 2 years. And then from there, it's all going to be profits. I've used multiple credit card bonus point redemptions, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds.
Wow. I'm cringing at how much I paid for a nearly identical system. Steven, that's incredible. It must be dramatically cheaper to install solar in Australia. So well done.
That's awesome. That's a win for everybody right there.
That's
all right,
That's
Rebecca.
a win for the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all winning. Thanks. All right, Rebecca writes in, thanks to Choose FI, we are well on the path to FI. 1, we decided we didn't need a bigger house in a better neighborhood. We started selling unused crap around the house and putting that money into VTSAX, already have $15,000, also set up automatic monthly payments. She got her hubby on board by telling him we could retire in 10 years or less. He didn't believe me till he started listening to the podcast. Started an HSA and are maxing it out. Again, hubby had no idea we could do this till I made him listen to the episode. I started tracking our spending and creating budgets so we could see where everything was going, resulting in huge savings every month. Used Policy Genius to get a great rate on life insurance for 10 years till we hit our FI number. Actually know what our FI number is so we can now plan accordingly. Talked to my boss and got approval for working Monday through Thursday and can spend time with my daughter in the morning without trying to frantically rush out the door. Maxing out both 401ks and currently asking ChooseFi Facebook how to get a better plan going for my work. Started travel rewards. Hopefully we'll plan something fun soon. In the process of redoing car, home insurance, and internet bills. I can keep going, but basically I get at least one actual tip from each episode, and the ChooseFi podcast and community have absolutely transformed my life and that of my families. So grateful. Congratulations, Rebecca.
This is huge. Wins just keep stacking up.
That is amazing. All right. Melanie wrote in, my husband has a long commute every day. Gas in California is well over $4 per gallon. So now he drives an Uber passenger on his way to work and on the way home, making $25 driving to work and another $25 on the way home, using the same gas and wear and tear on the car as he would if he were driving and not getting paid to. How have you hacked long commutes? Do you carpool, use public transit, drive for Uber or Lyft? There's so many options out there. That's really, really cool, Melanie.
I actually know multiple people that have basically looked at the math and just said, you know what, I think I could just Uber back and forth and it'll cost less. So that's pretty amazing. So this next one is from Emily. It says, I'm late to the party and this is a little win, but we finally tried freezing breakfast burritos this week. Delicious and so easy to make in a large batch. And I will tell you the inspiration for that was likely the Playing with Fire documentary. That's something that Scott talks about in the documentary that they use months worth of breakfast burritos. And they did. They look delicious.
Well, now I'm hungry. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
All right. So now we're going to read Anna's win. Anna says, when I went back to work after my youngest kid was born, I decided to start to invest in the company 401k for the first time and max it out. I decided to apply a set and forget mindset. That was 3 years ago. I just checked it for the first time since then, and I practically fell off my chair because it has grown to $102,000. I actually logged in and out many times because I thought I was looking at this could be your account example before I realized that's my money. Still working on paying off debt, but all of a sudden I feel like I can breathe. Congratulations, Anna.
Yep, that is your money indeed. Well done. All right, Jan writes in, I was depressed thinking that I would have to work until I drop. Then I discovered the ChooseFi podcast earlier this year. I made some major changes in my life. Background, I'm a single mom with one income raising 3 kids. I increased my 401k, HSA, and Roth contributions and set it up automatically and will start maxing out everything in the next 3 years.
Wow.
2, I downsized my house and cut my mortgage in half. 3, I got rid of expensive financial advisor and switched to Vanguard Index Mutual Fund portfolio for all my investment accounts except for the company 401k, where she doesn't have the option. 4, I started using travel rewards with credit card bonus points, and I'm on track to earn 140,000 points by the end of the year. Now I feel like life is more survivable, and I'm on track to be FI in 15 years.
More than survivable, it's starting to feel like you're crushing it.
Yeah.
That is amazing. All right, this next one is from Trish. Last week, I paid off the last of my credit card debt. In 2.5 years, I've paid off $115,000 in credit card debt, student loans, and car loans. We have about $65,000 left in a mortgage and 2 cars, and I'm hoping to knock those out in 2020. Yes, you will knock those out in 2020. I have no doubt.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jessica writes in with a lot of actual wins that are also wins. She says for Food
I don't even know what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Just wait. She has won multiple things and she's pretty much getting free food. So number 1, she won free Arby's for a year. My husband and I went to the local grand opening to be among the first 50. Every week, we always order the half-pound roast beef sandwich meal, which easily feeds both of us. 2, her local Chick-fil-A has been doing promotional giveaways for using their app. For the past 2 months, they have been giving away free breakfast entree on Monday. I wait to redeem it until drive-through Thursday, which banks another freebie, usually any side or a chicken sandwich. And the local operator has been giving me just because freebies. I have 3 rewards to redeem every week. And 3, husband, sister, and I attended 2 local Aldi grand openings. The first 100 win a gift card that ranges from between $10 to $100. Everyone who shows up has a chance to win free groceries for a year. The perks of living in a small town. Wow, Jessica, that's amazing.
All right, this next one's from Barbara. Barbara says, credit card rewards for free flights 3 times this year. It's great to read everyone's journey. We fired in 2011 and 2015, respectively, 100% debt-free. Congratulations on all of that progress.
And Giovanna writes in, I paid off $7,000 of credit card debt this year. Wow, congrats.
That's amazing because Topaz writes that she earned $5,000 from her side hustles in 2019. Congratulations, Topaz.
Yeah. All right. And Jenna writes in, except for our mortgages, we became entirely debt-free. We paid off 2 vehicles early, refinanced our home to get rid of PMI, and we also have now a shorter mortgage term. We cut cable out of our life and minimized some other monthly fees. We cook more at home and we meal plan. We found the Choose FI podcast. We started a couple of side hustles. We increased our profits on our Airbnb property. And we switched from Edward Jones to another financial advisor with more options and fewer fees. And I am inspired and focused every single day.
All right, this next one is from Steven. Steven has a list here. Since I found the financial independence community, I've made the following changes. I cut cable and I now stream everything from YouTube. Changed my cell phone provider to Total Wireless for me and my wife. Maxed out my 401k and my wife did as well. Made my HSA a savings account. Did the mega backdoor Roth. Wow. We'll do a backdoor Roth this year. I got the Southwest Companion Pass, paid off the car 2 years early, purchased life insurance, drafted our will, signed up for the Alaska Air credit card for the bonus and the annual Companion Pass, kept my 2005 Mazda 3 to see how many miles I can get out of it. Well, of course, cook as much as possible. And we've actually become pretty good. We opened an Ally high yield savings account, sold some stuff online, negotiated or asked for price matches, something I never would have done on my own, researched the fees in my 401k. And most importantly, the community has opened a topic, retirement and savings, with my wife that would have never happened organically. We now work better as a team with a common goal. I can't thank the community enough for the inspiration to reach financial independence. And I've posted questions in the past and have always received thoughtful answers. Thank you. And let's keep that fire burning.
Indeed. Let's keep that fire burning. That was awesome. All right. Allison writes, paid off 2 more rental properties, only 2 left of 8, and officially reached Fat Fire net worth. Also joined the Choose FI book club and have read and listened to tons of great books. That's awesome.
All right, Patrick writes in, I took an expat position with my company and our net worth skyrocketed since January 1st. It's up 25%. Not only that, but we are benefiting from no car payment. The company car is part of my package, a driver, so I can upskill with books and podcasts from the back seat, a cook and maid, ditto for me and my wife, fun and cheap vacations and experiences. Plus, the family has gotten so much closer living here in Sri Lanka. 2019 has been amazing so far, and I can't wait to see what 2020 brings.
All right, Hillary says, I knocked out about a quarter of my 6-figure student loan balance this year. I have never looked back with regret at paying off my student loans earlier.
Absolutely. And Ella shares that we finally paid off $148,000 in student loans this year. So she's very excited and also included a gift from Aladdin when the genies released unlimited power. So yeah, congratulations, Ella.
I can visualize it.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is cool. So Ed and Steven from our team wrote in with their own win. Their big win for 2019 was to get the FI 101 course up and running with Melissa's help through the Choose FI International Foundation. This course will help to spread the message of FI and help people who are getting started on this path. And stay tuned for the end of this episode because we actually have a special announcement about this FI 101 course.
All right, the next one is from Tommy, and Tommy has a voicemail for us.
Hey, Brad, Jonathan, and MK. This is Tommy from Baltimore. Just wanted to call in and give an end-of-year update. It's been a big year for me. I'm a federal employee, so we have the Thrift Savings Plan as our 401k. At the beginning of the year, I was 100% in the G Fund in my TSP, which is equivalent to low-risk bonds. That was based on the advice of a blogger called the Fed Trader, who a bunch of people at my job recommended I follow. He knew more than I did, so I followed what he said. Luckily for me, a fire aficionado got detailed to my employer, and he sat right next to me. In the coming months, me and him would have regular financial discussions along with several other people in the office. And we were all learning about the FIRE concept, and he introduced me to J.L. Collins' Simple Path. From there, I devoured as much as I could about the FIRE concept and began listening to nearly every Choose FI episode in the archive. I was 100% in bonds back then, and I was only contributing 10% of each check. I didn't know what Vanguard was, barely knew what an IRA was. As of today, less than a year later, I'm 100% in the C fund now, which is essentially the S&P 500, as close as I can get to VTSAX. I contribute $730 a check to hit the 19K max. My TSP balance just surpassed $200,000.
Wow.
I opened a Vanguard Roth for my wife and I. I put $6K in each of those accounts. I opened a Vanguard brokerage, opened a Vanguard 529, to which I transfer my Maryland 529 once a year to take advantage of the lower fees. Let's see, what else? I just booked my first trip using 2-player travel rewards. My son's very excited about his upcoming Legoland adventure.
Oh, nice.
That's mainly just the big stuff. Doesn't even mention all the little nuggets of wisdom, like coming to a fair compromise in negotiations, realizing everything is negotiable. If you ask, the worst they can say is no. House hacking, scholarships, campus RA hacks, stuff that'll come up in my son's future. The true cost of cars. I mean, so much more. I could go on. But I just wanted to say a huge shout out to the FI community at large, to include my buddy Dave, who got me started, J.L. Collins for his blueprint, and everyone involved at Choose FI who has kept me on that simple path, from the aforementioned Brad, Jonathan, and MK, to Edmund T, to all those in the local Baltimore group. You've all changed my life and my family's life immensely, and I'll be forever grateful. I'll have a pension when I retire, so it makes things a little different than a lot of people involved, but my retirement's going to look vastly different thanks to all of you, and I really just can't thank everyone enough. I can't wait to spread the second-gen fire to my sons, and I just want to say keep up the great work. I really appreciate everything you guys do.
And Brad, you realize that everyone that comes into contact with Tommy from here on out, their lives are going to be affected for the positive because of this information, right?
That is truly incredible. Tommy, thank you for listening, and thank you for spreading the fire, and that is amazing. MK, that's a tough act to follow. Who's up next?
Okay, well, Angie has to follow that, but Angie has a great win. She says, I paid off my student loans in February after only starting paying on them in October. She paid off $17,000.
Wow.
That's amazing, Angie.
Oh.
Wow. Just a few short months to pay off $17,000. Congratulations. All right. John writes in, we paid off our last non-income producing debt when we paid off our car last month. Nice. Congrats, John. That's great.
As in he still has debt related to probably like rental properties or some such. Nice. Okay. This next one is from Glenn. Glenn says, I have taken Brad's calls to action to heart. I have increased my biweekly allocation to Vanguard a couple times now, such that my checking account is only getting 20 to 25% of my earnings. This is accomplishing two things. One, building up my after-tax portfolio, the buckets I will need for sequence of return risk. And two, proving to myself that we can live on less. I have reserve allocations for insurance and property taxes, for example, but have not used them while incurring these expenses because the checking account is doing fine as is. If I had to retire tomorrow, I now have a good idea of how much it'll cost to fund regular expenses. Understanding what your life cost is incredibly important.
Absolutely. All right, our next one is from Caroline, and she left us a voicemail.
Hi, Brad and Jonathan. I learned about Choose FI during a 2018 interview you guys did at For Anything. So from that point on, I started listening to the very first episode, and I really wanted to finish it all, but I quickly realized that I could not wait to be caught up. I had to take action. So we're a family of 4. Kids are 6 and 4, and we also have a dog. So to the best of my recollection, this is everything we've done so far starting December of 2018. We opened an IRA and an Auth IRA for myself and my husband, and we did the backdoor Roth. We found out about my company's 401k after-tax option, and we tried it out for the very first time, and it worked. We decided to pay off the rest of our mortgage with a bunch of cash we had just sitting around in a checking account because we were too afraid of the stock market after the 2008 crash. So the resulting cash flow now is going straight to savings. In 2019, we redid our IRA backdoor Roth conversion. We continue maxing out our 401k. For the first time, then we went all the way with the after-tax amounts on my on my 401k, and that's up to the 56K limit. We opened a Vanguard account and started our VTSAX fund. We rethought our whole going out as a family that we used to go from Friday night through Sunday night. It was actually pretty painful to get kids out of the house, get them ready to leave, etc. So we reduced that tremendously by just cooking home, having simple meals. And now going out is just reserved for the adults, where we can have a nice, peaceful dinner. We also took another big look at travel. This was a huge line item in our budget. And this is, even though it's a critical part of my life, we cut some trips. We swapped flying by driving. We changed the time of the year. We typically go visit our families back in Brazil. And this by itself shaved off $15K out of our yearly budget. Wow. We also started a little bit of travel hacking. We have enough for about 9 nights already, but we still haven't used them. So we'll do much more of that in 2020. We also adopted Aldi big time. So that reduced our grocery bill by about $200 a month. We're doing now massive Sunday meal prep so that the entire family brings homemade lunches, both my husband and I. So that shaved off $100 per month from the cafeterias. My husband stood up a home gym as well, and we were able to cancel his gym membership. So that's about $45 a month that we're saving. We did a massive car, home, umbrella insurance renegotiation, and we saved $200. I was able to negotiate an extra day to work from home. So I had no clue this was going to be so easy. I hesitated for years and it just happened. So that's saving me gas. It allows me to eat at home one more time and also saves one extra dog from our dog walker. Talking about dogs, we got a dog grooming kit and a table. So now we're shaving our dog. She looks uneven, to be honest with you, but we're saving $90 per session and we're getting better and better. I also drastically stopped shopping for clothes, which was really sort of a bad habit I had. I'm now doing sip and swaps in the spring where I have, people bring in their clothes and we just get new clothes. So I got the variety that I craved and for no extra dollars. I also finally acted and started teaching yoga certification I had received about 1.5 years ago. So that by itself in a few months brought in an extra $600 into our savings. More importantly, I really proved that I can reinvent myself if I have to. After being for so long in my career, I never thought I would be able to do something new. So that's just was really rewarding. We just really started to be more mindful about everything, and the results quickly started to show. And most importantly, we're not feeling deprived. So in sum, we went from, well, we'll retire whenever, we don't really know how much we'll need, let's not think about it, to, okay, we need X to retire, and we're going to be there in 5 to 6 years. It's up to us. We really tripled our savings rates to about 48% of our net income. In other words, you guys rock. You enabled me to take so many actions. For the first time, I have so many role models. I know this can be done. And it's so inspiring to just have done all those changes and see the results. So please keep up the good work. Really love the show. Thanks.
Well, you inspire us. That probably doesn't need to be said, but thank you so much for sharing. That's incredible.
All right. Heidi writes in, since I started listening in March, I created a life and family strategic plan focused on fostering moments of joy and connection. I earned a Southwest Companion Pass, started on my husband's side hustle, maxed out a 403B and a 457, ended our relationship with our financial advisor, and moved our investments to Vanguard. Paying cash and DIY home renovation to make this our forever home and allow us to age in place. Was granted flexible work options. Started an around-the-world dinner party with like-minded folks for family and friends and inexpensive entertainment. And I've made more significant changes for our financial practices in the last 8 months than I have in my first 38 years. Wow, Heidi, that is amazing. I love that last line. We've made more changes in our financial life in the last 8 months than in the first 38 years. And it really comes down to taking action. So a huge congrats to you and to everybody who wrote in and to everybody out there who's listening and making changes in their lives. This is amazing and humbling.
I think it would only be fair if we're going to ask our community to provide their wins, we should probably commit to our own wins for the year. And I guess since I just teed it up, it would be kind of unfair of me to sandbag you guys. I will sandbag myself first and share 2 things, a personal and a professional. On a personal level, for me, so we just welcomed our daughter to this world. So we have 2 kids now. I have a 2.5-year-old, and then our daughter is 3 to 4 months at the time of this release when it's going live. But to be able to be a stay-at-home dad, effectively working from home, picking my hours, and being able to have breakfast with them every morning, put them down to bed every single night. I mean, it just they change so much every single day, every single week. To be able to be there for those moments has really, at a personal level, been that massive win. And it is related to these choices that we made early on. at a professional level, it's honestly, if you're watching Choosify TV, if you're watching the YouTube channel, we're doing this from a studio, which is a spare room in my house. And this house was chosen as a design your life type transition. And we picked a house that was close to your house so that we could do this together. And that was one thing. We were doing this remotely when we started, but for us to be able to record these videos together, I think both, it's been gratifying. It's kind of changed it. It's made this more about community, which is what the heart of the show is. And then also, MK, you've been able to join us. I haven't been able to convince you and your husband to move to Richmond yet. It's a long-term play, but to be able to have you join us on the show and be the showrunner and be able to be the face of the community and bringing the community in, those things, it feels like a team effort and it's fun. I mean, it's really fun to do this together.
This is one of my wins for the year, being able to be on the show and work with you guys and help bring the books to market. That's been a huge win this year.
All right. So does that count as yours? Is there anything else you want to add on to that?
Well, I left a toxic work environment to be a full-time entrepreneur. That was a win. Jason and I designed our life. So we moved 13 miles across a bridge that was horribly backed up every day. That was taking him an hour-long commute. And now we live 2 miles from where he works. I work from home. So we have much more time together. So we have designed this beautiful lifestyle. That was a huge win for us.
All right, Brad. We saved the best for last.
I don't know if it's the best.
We saved the Barrett for last.
We saved the Barrett for last.
Reverse alphabetically. It's been a year of wins. The biggest thing is launching the Choosify International Foundation. We refer to this here, within the Choosify team as the project of our lives. And it really does feel like this. There's something crazy. Jonathan, I still don't know what it is. There's some alchemy that this podcast has created in our lives and a lot of other people's lives. And it's allowed us and afforded us this opportunity to maybe create a dent in the world in a very positive way. Honestly, we don't want to waste that. This is a once in a lifetime chance, and it's really incredible. Forming this foundation, I think, will be, when we look back on our lives 50 plus years from now, this will be the thing we're proudest of. It is astounding to be here at the launch of it, and to the entire team, to our board of directors, to everybody who's helped in small and large ways, a huge thank you. And we are just so excited about what this foundation will bring in the future, bringing financial literacy to the world and to underserved communities. If that's not the win of the year for me, I just don't know what is.
That's huge. It is really huge. And actually, to close the loop, right? You're saying there, close the loop. We actually teed up that announcement about FI 101. What do we want people to know about that going into this new year?
This is the launch of our curriculum here. This is the launch of our digital academy. And Stephen and Melissa and the entire team have worked tirelessly on this. Jonathan, there are quite literally thousands of hours have gone into it. All the beta testers that have helped make this better with all their feedback, whether, for us, tough to hear or not. It's about producing something of quality and affect change maybe in the same way that this podcast does. We want people to get up off the couch and take action in their lives to make their lives better. So this is FI 101. It's a sequential course on basically, if you are new to financial literacy and certainly to financial independence, this will get you up and running with a blueprint to get started on your financial life.
So if you heard that and you have someone in mind, maybe you're already on this path, you've locked these tenants down, but you have someone in mind that needs this. They're barely keeping up. They're barely treading water. They need a game plan, a blueprint, something to get them started on their path to financial independence. For more information, just go to choosify.com/academy. All right, my friends, that is going to bring this episode to a close. Thanks for being with us both this year, really for the last 2 years. And it's very exciting to contemplate that together we're going into this next decade. How much can we accomplish over the next 10 years? I guarantee you that it's more if we do this together. We'll see you next time as we continue to go down the road less traveled.
You've been listening to Choose FI Radio Podcast, where we help middle-class America build wealth, one life hack at a time.